Inside this tomb, rivers of toxic mercury flow and booby traps still wait in the dark. Modern science has the tools to open it, but they are too terrified of what might be unleashed. Why is this emperor's rest still forbidden? For over 2,000 years, a tomb has remained sealed in silence. Beneath a sacred hill in Xi'an, legends speak of a resting place unlike any other. A place guarded by thousands of clay soldiers, where rivers of liquid mercury are said to flow. Ancient texts hint at celestial maps carved into the ground and deadly traps designed to protect the emperor's eternal rule. But why has no one dared to open it? What secrets are buried so deep that modern science itself hesitates? Today, we journey into one of history's most mysterious burial sites. And what we uncover might change the way we understand ancient China forever.
The tomb of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of unified China, is one of the most enigmatic structures ever built. Discovered in 1974 near the city of Xi'an, the surrounding complex revealed the famous Terracotta army, but the tomb itself has never been opened. Historical records, such as those from the ancient historian Sima Qian, describe an underground palace containing replicas of the empire, rivers of mercury, and a ceiling mimicking the stars. Soil samples around the site show high levels of mercury, adding credibility to the old accounts. The structure beneath the mound is estimated to be a vast chamber sealed by centuries of mystery. Despite numerous advancements in technology, researchers remain hesitant to excavate the site. The fear of damaging a fragile cultural treasure and possibly unleashing dangerous substances holds them back. This silence raises a deeper question. Is the tomb meant to be opened, or forever remain untouched?
Historical accounts left behind by ancient Chinese scholars provide more than just poetic imagery. They offer clues to something extraordinary. The writings of Sima Qian, composed nearly a century after the emperor's death, describe a tomb filled with mechanical traps and rivers made of mercury. These texts were often dismissed as legend, but modern readings suggest they may have been grounded in reality. The combination of myth, politics, and imperial ambition created an image of a resting place designed not only to honor the dead, but to protect what lies within. These accounts also emphasize secrecy, a silence that has echoed through the centuries. What makes these descriptions especially compelling is how they align with current scientific data, but how much of it is symbolic and how much is real. As we sift through the layers of ancient memory, we get closer to understanding the true intentions of a ruler obsessed with immortality.
Sima Qian's records of the grand historian paint a vivid picture of the tomb's grandeur. He speaks of crossbows set to fire automatically upon intruders, and of vast rooms replicating the emperor's entire kingdom. These accounts include descriptions of miniature rivers made from mercury flowing across the floor and a ceiling filled with constellations made of precious stones. While early scholars debated whether these were exaggerations, modern surveys reveal unusually high mercury concentrations in the soil. This scientific finding lends serious weight to the ancient descriptions. Additionally, remote sensing technology has revealed geometric patterns beneath the mound, suggesting the presence of chambers and corridors. Yet these passages remain untouched, sealed for over 2,000 years. It is as if the emperor's will to rule forever extended into his death, commanding eternal secrecy. The harmony between text and data is uncanny and continues to puzzle archaeologists today.
The Terracotta army is often admired for its artistic and historical value, but few consider what it truly represents. These thousands of life-sized figures may be more than ceremonial protectors. They could be warning signs. Arranged in military formation, they stand facing outward, guarding the tomb they encircle. Their presence suggests a ruler deeply concerned with threats, not only in life but in the afterlife. Each soldier is unique, modeled with an eerie level of individuality, perhaps reflecting the emperor's desire for absolute control. Their silent watch might be a final message: do not enter. This interpretation adds another layer of caution to the mystery. Could these figures be meant to ward off more than just physical intruders? The possibility haunts every archaeologist who looks upon them with curiosity.
Discovered in 1974 by local farmers in Shaanxi province, the Terracotta army quickly became one of the most astonishing archaeological finds of the 20th century. Over 8,000 soldiers, along with horses and chariots, were unearthed near the mausoleum of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Each figure was crafted with intricate detail, from facial expressions to armor patterns, suggesting an extraordinary level of care and planning. But why such effort? Some researchers believe these figures were not just symbolic, but spiritual guardians placed to protect the emperor's tomb from both earthly and supernatural intrusions. The warriors face east, toward lands once considered dangerous, implying a posthumous defense strategy. Some statues also bear signs of fire damage and collapse, hinting at a violent end, possibly connected to early tomb raiders or rebellion. Despite their silent stance, the army speaks volumes. Their alignment, scale, and precision raise deeper questions. Were they a psychological deterrent or part of a grander ritual to seal the tomb's secrets?
When ancient Chinese historians described flowing rivers of mercury and deadly traps within the tomb of Qin Shi Huang, many dismissed these claims as poetic exaggeration. But as modern researchers began investigating the burial complex using remote sensing and geochemical surveys, traces of mercury were indeed detected in unusually high concentrations around the site. This discovery gave new weight to those early accounts, suggesting the ancient scribes may have been reporting actual features rather than myths. It also raised critical questions about the engineering abilities and intentions of the tomb's builders. Was mercury used for ritual purposes, as a deterrent, or even to mimic real rivers on a symbolic map of the emperor's empire? The fact that the tomb remains sealed today is partly due to fears over the toxicity of its contents, as well as the potential structural damage that opening it could cause. What once sounded like legend is now a scientific and archaeological puzzle, one that warns us that this tomb may guard its secrets with more than just silence.
Ground-penetrating radar and soil analysis around the mausoleum of China's first emperor have revealed extraordinary anomalies, particularly abnormally high levels of mercury in the surrounding earth. These scientific findings echo descriptions from the ancient records of the Grand Historian, which spoke of entire rivers of liquid mercury flowing through the tomb to represent China's great waterways. While early scholars believed these claims to be metaphoric, today they are being reconsidered with serious scientific interest. Some researchers believe mercury might have been used to symbolize immortality, as it was often linked to alchemy and the pursuit of eternal life in ancient Chinese belief. Others suggest it could have functioned as a form of protection, a toxic barrier to deter grave robbers. Combined with tales of automated traps, crossbows set to fire if disturbed, the tomb begins to appear more like an engineered fortress than a simple burial site. Yet these dangers are not simply ancient fears. Even today, officials worry that opening the tomb may unleash toxic vapors or collapse unseen chambers. Despite advancements in archaeological technology, no one has dared to pierce the inner sanctum. The emperor's resting place continues to guard its mysteries, cloaked in deadly silence and protected by the very elements of legend.
If the rivers of mercury symbolized Earth's terrain, then the celestial design said to be built into the tomb's ceiling may represent something far greater. Ancient texts mention a dome painted with stars believed to mimic the night sky exactly as it was the day Emperor Qin Shi Huang died. This was no coincidence. The emperor, obsessed with immortality, likely wished not only to rule in death, but to align himself with the heavens. In Chinese cosmology, the link between a ruler and the celestial order was sacred. By embedding planetary patterns into the tomb, Qin was declaring his divine status across time and space. Some scholars believe the layout may have mirrored constellations visible from the capital, creating a spiritual map for the emperor's soul to navigate eternity. There are also theories that planetary alignments held astrological meanings meant to ensure the emperor's dominance in the afterlife. This fusion of astronomy, mythology, and statecraft reveals how deeply science and spirituality intertwined in ancient China. Rather than a mere final resting place, the tomb might have been designed as a portal to cosmic power, one that was meant to remain sealed forever.
Beneath the earth, where the emperor rests, some believe there lies more than just walls and artifacts. Ancient sources describe a ceiling painted with constellations, carefully mapped to mirror the sky exactly as it appeared at the time of Qin Shi Huang's death. This was not decoration, it was declaration, a message written in stars that aligned the emperor with the cosmos. The tomb was constructed to be more than a burial site. It was a universe in miniature, a celestial kingdom sealed beneath the soil. Planetary positions, according to some theories, were used to encode symbols of power and control over fate. The alignment may have served a spiritual function, guiding the soul through realms beyond our own. It also had political significance, reinforcing the divine right to rule. Even today, satellite imaging and geophysical scans hint at chambers arranged in patterns that defy conventional architectural logic. Could these patterns reflect the Milky Way or ancient Chinese star charts? If true, the tomb was not just a palace for the dead, but a sacred machine, built to connect the emperor's soul with eternity.
For decades, the tomb of China's first emperor has remained sealed, untouched by modern excavation tools. This is not due to a lack of curiosity, but rather a deliberate choice, influenced by many layers of complexity. Preservationists warn that opening the tomb without proper preparation could cause irreversible damage to its contents. Archaeologists worry about the presence of toxic mercury, as ancient texts describe deadly rivers flowing through the chambers. There are also technical limitations. No current technology guarantees safe and non-destructive entry. But beyond science, political and cultural concerns weigh heavily. The site is considered sacred, and disturbing it could spark national or international controversy. Some believe that the government prefers to maintain the mystery, using the unknown to fuel cultural pride and global fascination. Others say fear of what might be found or what might be proven holds back even the most daring researchers. In the end, the silence surrounding the tomb may speak louder than the treasures it hides.
Modern imaging technology has revealed vast underground structures beneath the mound where China's first emperor lies, but no excavation has taken place. Ancient records warn of deadly traps and rivers of mercury, and scientific studies have confirmed elevated mercury levels in the soil, aligning with these old accounts. The danger is not just environmental, it is historical. Digging without a complete understanding could destroy priceless artifacts, cultural meaning, and delicate materials that have survived for over 2,000 years. Engineers have expressed concern that entering the tomb might collapse internal chambers or trigger unknown structural failures. Beyond these physical risks, there are also emotional and cultural barriers. For many, the tomb is more than just a burial site. It is a symbol of China's national legacy. Its secrecy fuels national identity, mystery, and global fascination. Political hesitation stems from the possibility that what is inside may challenge accepted narratives about the emperor's reign or the limits of ancient engineering. Until a perfect solution is found, silence remains the most cautious response. Sometimes, what is not said or not opened says everything.
We now live in an era where we can see beneath the earth without lifting a single stone. Ground-penetrating radar, 3D scanning, and remote sensing have mapped what lies under the tomb mound, revealing chamber-like structures, layered formations, and possible corridors. These tools offer a chance to explore history without disturbing it. Yet there is still so much we cannot confirm. Are the shapes we see really rooms? Do the darker areas represent traps or hidden treasures? Despite technological advances, limitations remain. The data is impressive, but interpretation still requires guesswork. Some scholars argue that technology might give us answers without risking irreversible damage. Others believe only direct access will ever uncover the full truth. The balance between progress and preservation remains delicate.
In recent years, non-invasive technologies have allowed researchers to peer into the massive burial mound of the first emperor without disturbing a single brick. Ground-penetrating radar has identified large hollow spaces and signs of layered chambers deep beneath the surface. Remote sensing tools have detected unusual magnetic signatures that could point to structural complexity or hidden materials. Some of these findings align with ancient descriptions, suggesting that the tomb may hold replicas of the empire, crafted in miniature and surrounded by deadly defenses. Scholars have proposed that high mercury levels in the soil support the idea of artificial rivers flowing within. Thermal imaging also reveals heat signatures in patterns that could match buried architecture. However, these technologies can only go so far. They show outlines and densities, but not the full story. Interpretations vary, and confirmation remains elusive. Despite this, many believe that with time, science will unlock the tomb's mysteries without ever breaking its seal.
What truly rests at the core of the first emperor's tomb remains one of archaeology's greatest unanswered questions. For some, it could be a treasury of ancient Chinese artifacts, preserved in time and untouched for over 2,000 years. For others, it may be the emperor himself, entombed in a setting designed to echo the heavens and rule the underworld. Yet beyond curiosity, there are also cultural and spiritual taboos that have kept this site sealed. Many believe disturbing the tomb would not only violate sacred grounds, but risk releasing something that was meant to remain hidden. Others argue that the symbolism embedded within its construction was meant to protect more than a body. It was guarding a legacy, an idea, perhaps even a warning. Political factors also play a role, with national heritage protection laws adding further layers of complexity. And so the tomb remains untouched. Not forgotten, but respectfully watched from a distance.
At the heart of the mausoleum lies more than just an ancient burial. It is a riddle that bridges myth and history. Archaeologists have long speculated about the layout of the central chamber. Ancient records claim that the ceiling represents the stars, and the floor, the rivers and mountains of China. The idea of Mercury rivers flowing through the tomb is more than poetic. It's supported by high mercury concentrations found in the soil above. But what is their purpose? Were they designed as traps, or symbols of immortality and divine rule? Some experts argue that the entire underground palace mirrors the emperor's vision of eternal control, even in death. Yet, without physical access, these interpretations remain speculative. The Chinese government's decision to preserve the site untouched adds to the tomb's mystique. Cultural responsibility, scientific caution, and spiritual respect converge here. The result is a mystery frozen in time, one that continues to fascinate the world. We may never know exactly what lies beneath, but the curiosity endures, stronger than ever.
The tomb of China's first emperor is more than a sealed chamber. It is a gateway into a forgotten vision of power, immortality, and cosmic order. Surrounded by rivers of mercury and protected by silent terracotta soldiers, this ancient wonder continues to guard its secrets with remarkable success. Despite modern advances, the full truth remains buried beneath layers of soil, stone, and time. Legends, science, and history merge in a story that challenges the limits of our understanding. Will the mystery ever be solved, or is it meant to remain untouched forever? What we do know is that the tomb speaks to something greater than one man. It echoes an entire civilization's view of death and eternity. As we close this exploration, we are left with more questions than answers. And perhaps that is the true power of the Forbidden Tomb. If you found this journey thought-provoking, do not forget to leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe for more explorations into history's deepest enigmas.